Assalamu alaikum students, I'm your chemistry teacher Amna Manzoor, and today we are going to continue the lecture of organic chemistry 2. In the yesterday's lecture we have studied the introduction of alcohols, the functional group, important formulas and some of the isomeric structures. Now moving towards in the topic of alcohols, we were talking about the process of oxidation. Now, as I told you yesterday, that oxidation is basically, if explained in the term of oxygen, it is the addition of oxygen to our compound. Whenever the atom, molecule, or more than one atoms of the oxygen are added into a compound, we use the word of oxidation to explain that this compound have undergone the process of oxidation. For example, if I'm talking about, let's say, hydrogen and somehow being reacted with oxygen, it is going to form water. No doubt it is a chemical reaction, it is a combining reaction, it is forming water molecule, but basically there has been occurring addition of oxygen to the hydrogen, which means there is occurring a oxidation of hydrogen molecule. Whenever we are talking about the hydrocarbons, the addition of oxygen to the compound of hydrocarbon series is basically leading to the term of oxidation process. So CH4 whenever reacted with oxidation leads to the formation of an alcohol. And the process I explained you in the yesterday lecture, that in the oxidation process, when we are going to form the oxidized product, in the case of alkenes and alkynes, when there is an unsaturation, means double or the triple bond, like this or this situation. In both of these situations, there will be an addition product, right? But in the case of alkanes, there will be a substitution product, and you have already studied that substitution products are basically those products which are formed on the basis of replacement of any of the atoms surrounding the backbone by the upcoming atoms. It means the surrounding the main backbone atom, carbon, the hydrogens attached to this carbon will be replaced by the oxygen. The process is called oxidation. Now moving a step forward, oxidation okay, at this point I am using this term atomic oxygen, or you can say nascent oxygen, to represent the process of oxidation. How this oxygen is going to be obtained, that are two different methods. We are discussing it in a few minutes. This is a simple a general reaction for the representation of oxidation of alcohols, and as a result I explained you it is going to form aldehyde at one step, and at the second step the final product will be carboxylic acid. So this reaction is not controlled actually. बैग में देखो है देखो वहाँ पे सब यही है. This reaction is not as that much controlled. So the final product is formed immediately, which is the carboxylic acid. In the general terms, this is used to represent the formation of carboxylic acid. I explained you the basic functional group is this one, C, in the double bond with oxygen, which is called as carbonyl. One of the end is occupied by the alkyl group, I mean the hydrocarbon chain, and the other end is occupied by the hydroxyl. This is called carboxylic acid, the ultimate or the final product of the oxidation of the alcohols. Clear? Now, we have basically two methods for the oxidation of alcohols. In the first method, we are going to perform the oxidation by, you can say, using any kind of catalyst and by using any oxidizing agent. The oxidizing agent is going to reduce itself and going to oxidize the compound which is provided. Let's say we are going to use acidified potassium chromate. Now, what that term means, basically, acidified potassium chromate means the potassium chromate being added as a catalyst, but in its acidified form, means in its a solution form with an acid. Acidified potassium chromate, when added into alcohols, it acts as an oxidizing agent and perform the catalytic oxidation of alcohols and leads to the formation of carboxylic acid. Let's say we have ethanol, CH3, one methyl group, CH2 methylene, OH. This whole compound is called ethanol compound. When added with potassium chromate, it will be forming as, there is going to be the reaction that is taking place, CH3 as intact, CH2 is now going to be changed. Now this, here is the basic reaction that is going to take place. There will be the addition of one oxygen, means two of these hydrogens are going to be replaced and a double bond with the oxygen is going to form at that position, like this one. This is the carbonyl functionality, and OH like this one. Now, what the basic reaction is telling us about the mechanism, that alcohols when reacted or when combined with any oxidizing agent. When we studied the homologous series and the functional groups, we just studied one thing, that the chemical reactions. We studied the word chemical reaction or the chemical properties. We said the chemical reactions and the chemical properties are basically because of the functional group. Means whenever we are talking about the chemical reaction, that this series or this compound is going to perform this reaction or is not going to perform this reaction, we basically analyze it on the basis of the homologous series, and who is giving us the recognition of homologous series, that is the functional group. Like if we're talking about alkanes, we said they are all going to form the substitution reactions. How do we know that? Because they have the functional group of carbon to carbon double bond, and the presence of carbon to carbon double bond means they are very much inert and they are going to only form the reaction after the replacement of the hydrogen atoms. Talking about the alkenes, we said that they are going to form addition reactions because they have a functional group of unsaturation, means the double bond, which have the pi electronic cloud, and the atom can be added as they have exposed electronic cloud, right? Talking about the alkynes, so we said they are also going to form the addition reaction, but their reactivity is a little bit slow as compared to alkenes, but more as compared to alkanes. Now, if we are talking about alcohols, just remember one thing. In the two types of oxidation, the first one is catalytic oxidation, means the oxidation going to be carried out by using any of the oxidizing agent, that can be acidified potassium chromate or potassium dichromate. In these conditions, whenever you are going to use an oxidizing agent, I mentioned by using the oxidizing agent, the compound finally which is going to form will be the one in which the whole reaction has been performed only at the position of the functional group. The remaining hydrocarbon chain will not be reacted, is not going to change, is not going to participate in the reaction at all. The chain will be intact, the chain will be same at all. We just took a simple alcohol, that is ethanol. If we are going to take a carbon chain of, let's say, 25 carbon atoms, then in the same case 25 carbon atom chain will remain the same. The 25th carbon atom means the carbon atom which was attached to the alcohol group, that is only going to form the carboxylic acid. The only the bond which is present, carbon which is involved in the bond formation with the alcohol is going to change itself into the formation of an carboxylic acid. The remaining chain is not going to participate in the reaction at all, and no change will be observed in that. So moving towards the nomenclature, we said that changing the name of ethane means alkane, remove the E and use the term anol, and it will be the nomenclature of alcohol. Now, for the acid, check out the number of carbon atoms. By counting the number of carbon atoms, use that prefix 1, 2. 2 carbon atoms, the prefix is eth. Now use a word oic acid. Ethane was the word. Remove the E. Now ethan oic acid. That is the name that is going to be used in the nomenclature of the carboxylic acid. Let's say we are going to have the 4-membered alcohol. 4-membered alcohol will be, if we are going to use the N-butane, in that case we will be having N-butanol, this is an N-butanol. And remember one thing, if I am writing like this one, this is N-butanol. If I write like this, it is not an isomer, it is still an isomer, it is still the same compound N-butanol, because the hydroxyl group is still attached to the terminal position. If I remove hydroxyl from this and attach it to this carbon, the same compound is that is N-butanol, means the chain of carbon is straight and the the hydroxyl group is attached at the terminal position. Now this is the N-butanol, and when we perform the oxidation, it is going to form first carbon, second, third, the fourth one which was attached to the hydroxyl. It was like this one. Now these two hydrogens have been removed and oxygen is being added, which is basically explaining the term oxidation, and this functionality, this functional group is called carboxylic group. Now the name was butane of the alkane. When converted into alcohol, it was called as butanol. It was the additional starting alkane. Now butanol is going to be changed into butanoic acid. This is the way we are going to add the names of the carboxylic acid. Clear? Now this was the oxidation process by using any of the oxidizing agent. Now the second type of oxidation process is by using the steam or burning. And remember one thing, whenever we are going to perform oxidation in this way, means by using the oxidizing agent, this is controlled, means it can be controlled easily. If you do not want to form the carboxylic acid, you can stop the reaction somewhere in between when the alcohol was converted into aldehyde, but the carboxylic acid is not formed. I am writing here the main reaction, but you have studied in the previous lecture that this is a three product step, means first of all alkane, then alcohol, then aldehyde, and then carboxylic acid. We do not took the very first step, that was alkane. We take the initial compound as an alcohol and we give the final product as carboxylic acid. If we want to control the reaction at carboxylic acid, we can stop it over here. If we do not form, we do not need any kind of carboxylic acid, we can stop it somewhere in between when the aldehyde compound has been formed. If the, remember one thing, if the functionality of hydroxyl is somewhere between the chain, we are not going to have an aldehyde but the ketone. What are these terms? That will be explained in the later lectures. But remember one thing, there are some mid compounds that are also formed, but in this case you are going to have the butanoic acid. Now this butanoic acid is a process in which the products and their concentrations, their amount, the mechanism, the chemical reactions, all these things can be controlled. But the other type of oxidation which I told you was the burning or the combustion, that is a kind of oxidation which cannot be controlled. In that case, when you started a reaction, the reaction is not going to stop at aldehyde, not going to stop at the formation of ketone, not even at carboxylic acid. It will only end when the whole of the compound has been burned out and the end product is carbon dioxide and the water as the simple oxidation of alkanes and alkenes and alkynes. Same as that. The whole of the compound will be burned out and the carbon dioxide and water will be left out as the final products. In that case, the reaction cannot be controlled, and in that case, the whole of the chain is involved. We said that in the process of oxidation, when we are using catalyst, that can be acidified potassium chromate or vanadium oxide, potassium dichromate, all these conditions are the situations when the only and only functional group is going to react. The alcohol functionality was converted into carboxylic acid. The remaining chain has not been affected at all. But in the burning process, whole of the chain will be affected. Each and every carbon atom will be converted into carbon dioxide. Each and every hydrogen atom will be utilized for the formation of water. And the final products will be, like if this hydrogen is, and we are going to perform the oxidation by the burning process, the final products will be carbon dioxide plus water plus heat, no aldehyde, no ketone, no carboxylic acid, no intermediate compounds will be formed. The reaction will only be stopped when we have these compounds left over in the beaker or in the mixture. Clear? Okay, a few terms that we need to understand are primary and secondary and tertiary alcohols. The only term that is being used in your book, the only term is primary. But to understand what the primary alcohols are, you also need to have an understanding of the secondary and the tertiary alcohols. Let's say we have these terms: primary alcohol, second is secondary. When you have an understanding of both of these terms, the tertiary will be understood to you ultimately. Now, primary alcohol. Write the alkyl chain first. We have, let's say, propane chain, right? If it is a propane, it means it has CH3, CH2, CH3, right? It is propane. When we have primary, so let's say we have alcohol. Alcohol means these three, 2 and 3, any of the carbon and any of the hydrogen attached to the carbon has been replaced, and that has been replaced by a hydroxyl group. That can be carbon 1, carbon 2, carbon 3, that can be any, because we are using the simple term alcohol. But when we specified the primary alcohols, primary means we have only and only functionality which is further linked to number 1 carbon. Means, let's say if hydrogen is replaced by the terminal position and the hydroxyl has been added over here. Now just notice one thing. Notice the carbon which is directly bonded to the functional group. This is the functional group, and this one is the carbon which is directly bonded to the functional group, right? This is the first carbon, this is the functional group. Now you have to check out to how many carbons this carbon is bonded. Means how much back branches are there for carbon number 1. It is directly bonded to 1 carbon chain only. So these are primary. And the symbolic term is this one, primary alcohols. Means the carbon which is directly bonded to the alcohol is connected to 1 carbon atom directly. It means the alcohol is primary. But in the secondary, CH3, now the same rule is applied over here. Let's see, when we have a functional group and we have this carbon that is directly bonded to the functional group. Now notice the number of carbon atoms this carbon is directly bonded to. It is directly bonded to 1 and 2. No doubt, for the nomenclature, it is 2-propanol. The numbering will be 1, 2, 3, but it is not about the nomenclature or the numbering. It is about the kind of alcohol, the nature of alcohol, and the ultimately chemical reactions of the alcohol. So remember one thing, when the functional group is directed to a carbon atom which is further bonded to two other carbon atoms, so 1 and 2, this will be called as secondary alcohols. Now, I hope the tertiary are already clear to you that in the case of tertiary, the carbon forming directly a bond to the functional group is further linked to 3 different carbon atoms, and it propyl compound have only 2 carbon atoms. It means the tertiary compound is not possible at all in the case of propyl. Propanol. Let's say we have butanol. In this case, this is a secondary alcohol, but if we remove CH3 from this position and attach it at this, now we have CH2, CH3, sorry, CH3, CH3, CH3. Now just see, this was the functional group and this carbon is the carbon which is directly bonded to the functional group. Now check out how many more carbon atoms are attached to this. 1, 2, 3. So now this compound is a tertiary alcohol. Clear? These are the methods or the parameters on the basis of which we are going to identify that either the alcohol is primary, secondary or tertiary. Now remember one thing, whenever we are going to have primary alcohol, it will be also always be forming the carboxylic acid. In the case of secondary and tertiary, carboxylic acid are not as such formed, but the final compound is going to change. But your syllabus is only limited to the primary alcohols. I just explained you the secondary and tertiary so that you can have an clear-cut idea about what the primary alcohols are. Clear? No. Remember one thing, that alcohols like you can say apple cider vinegar, or vinegar and yes, ciders, these are the compounds that can be converted into acids, or you can say into a different kind of oxidized compounds by providing sufficient amount of substituent reactions, the compounds or the reactants and the atmospheric pressure, temperature and the optimum conditions at normally. In the laboratory, these compounds are basically oxidized by different process, but in the industrial level, we have to perform each and everything at a very high level, so the parameters are a little bit different. Now, we have studied the topic of alcohols, introduction, isomerism, kind of alcohols like primary, secondary, tertiary, physical and chemical properties, some of the reactions. Now, forward moving towards the next topic, we have also studied the process of oxidation. Now we have to move towards the esterification process and some other chemical reactions and some derivatives of carboxylic acid like ester and so on, that will be discussed in the next lectures inshallah. A worksheet will be provided to you. Try to solve the worksheet and pay attention. I am not getting the worksheet solved by all of the students, so please try to solve the worksheets on time and submit it to me. Thank you.